Alright, so since I'm too neurotic to release gameplay footage every week without getting burnout, I'm going to start covering my favorite games here on this channel, particularly Ghost Tabor. There are a lot of things to cover since the recent AMA, so let's get into it. The last AMA conducted on May 1st, just a few days ago, mentioned some game-changing elements coming to Ghost Tabor shortly, likely in just a few weeks, as Scott, the creator of Ghost Tabor, stated in the AMA. In my opinion, the biggest change coming is how we load into raids. How they will be doing this is with a 5-minute queue timer in order to fill the lobby. If the queue does not fill within that time, you will load into raid regardless. They tested this out a few weeks back and it definitely made for far busier raids. The game was far more fun because of it. One of the main differences to this type of queuing from the way it is now is that you will be loading into a raid at the same time as everyone else, like how it works in Tarkov, which is much different to how it is working now. The way we have it at the moment is when you select deploy into a chosen map, whether that raid has started or not, it will give that particular raid a grace period of 10 to 15 minutes for anyone joining in late can if the raid is not full. It's an okay system, but it gives you far less chance of setting you up in a full raid because the amount of them happening at any given time will be less with this new system, if that makes any sense. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It will also give people an advantage to acquire loot before someone that might have spawned in earlier gets the first pickings at it. For all of you who think this game is just about running around and looting, for your information, it is not. There are downsides to this system though. Like I said, this is how Tarkov does their queue system, and it makes for spawn rushing and predicting people's pathing much easier, but ultimately I like this better because, like I said, it makes for far more engaging raids, and I can't wait for this to be implemented permanently. Also, they are introducing something called the Noob queue. Essentially, anyone below level 5 will be queued together in their own raids so that they can run around looting naked peacefully while the Chads do their PvP elsewhere. Not a huge change in my opinion, but it will help people new at the game learn the basics. Also, if you're a god at the game and want to reset your account in order to dump on noobs, you can only do that once per wipe, so this won't happen all that often, I would imagine. There's a new anti-cheat system in place. These guys seem to be prioritizing anti-cheat during the development of the game, and I do appreciate that. Soon there will be hardware IP bans and things of that nature, so it will hopefully protect the player base against repeat offenders. Even though it's not a guaranteed thing, it's not foolproof, it will help. Another big change is that suppressors on weapons will reduce bullet velocity and increase bullet drop. As Scott stated, this is not for realism, as suppressors can actually increase bullet velocity in real life, but this is for balancing because of the massive advantage of using suppressors in the first place. He was saying that the devs had to really fight him on this, but ultimately I do agree with this decision. I honestly think this was the right move. Suppressors in games are already so OP, as we don't want everyone using them at some massive benefit. Although I do think they just could have made them far more expensive to balance this, I still do think this is the right move, as almost all video games have a similar system. A rework to the mission system is a top priority for the development of Ghost Tabor at the moment. For those of you who don't play Tarkov, this will look a lot like what we have now for beginning quests, and then start to move into more complicated things like finding special items, killing a certain boss a number of times. For example, I did a video recently where I challenged myself to kill the fish cultist and get out of the raid alive. That would be one mission. Questing in Tarkov is a lot like that and will likely happen in Tabor soon enough. It will also affect how you progress with traders and unlock certain things to buy. So this will affect the game in a lot of ways in terms of how you progress. So look forward to it. Like Scott says, it will help the game feel more complete, and I happen to agree. This was just kind of a simplified, boiled down summary of that, but it will be more complicated as it comes out, and it will definitely add more to the game. Vaulting is happening at some point, no timeline, but it will be very cool to have. The tier 3 grow station will have a hose from your sink to the water tank for far easier herb growth in the future. That'll be a welcome thing, but yes, you do have to level up to get there, just to add to the fun factor of the game, because right now that's the least fun part about the game, in my opinion. It's just stupid. I don't like how they do it right now, and I think it just makes playing a game mundane and unfun, so there's no point to that. So upgrade to level 3 and you will have an automatic hose to, you know, through a filter into your water system. That'll make things much easier, and you'll have to progress to it. So yeah, there you go. Another feature being added to Ghost of Tabor is a fully automatic switch for the Glock. This is not necessary, but in other VR games where they have this, like Tactical Assault VR, it is fun as hell to use. Dog tags are not coming this year and may not come to us in the form of dog tags particularly, but we will have some collectible item we get from dead players at some point. Again, just not this year. Leaning or lean peeking is coming at some point. I'm still unsure on when this is happening, but they are testing some new systems around it apparently. Everyone hates that you can't lean peek, but it is coming. We just need to be patient. No group bunkers, no having your friends hang out in your bunkers. Sorry, it's not happening. It's just not that important. Who cares? This has been answered before, but a stat system for upgrading things like your strength and endurance and weapon handling will be added to the game at some point, like in Tarkov. There's no timeline for this or when this will be implemented as of yet, so don't expect it anytime soon. Will there ever be any other purchasable additions to the game in the future, like Independence or Founding Fathers? For Steam, PC, and MetaQuest, no. The Founding Fathers and Independent editions seem to be the only ones that we're getting. We've all had opportunities to buy them. Who has bought them did, and who has not will not. But there will be those versions or something a little different for PC VR and Pico when the game releases on those platforms, which makes sense to me because people who own those platforms don't have the game yet and will be able to purchase some sort of addition or new addition to the game. For those of you who aren't aware, the Independence and Founding Fathers editions of the game were just like an extra, you know, edition you could buy to help support the development of the game. It only gave you really, you know, a special skin for a gun, and it promised you for future DLCs for the game. Unlike Tarkov, I'm hoping this game actually gives you all future DLCs, and they're not just lying about it, but you know, that's a whole nother story. They also talked about reworking Island at some point. I do not think they are expanding it at any time in the future. I do not know how I feel about this yet, but we will just have to see what the new island map looks like when we get our hands on it, which is not anytime soon. Pump Shotgun is coming back soon. I don't have a timeline on that, but it is coming back. Audio sounds are being reworked at some point. Things like footsteps and directional audio, so the game doesn't sound so bad. Right now it's pretty terrible. It sounds like a, you know, an old PS2 game, but that is being reworked. As far as things I wanted to cover, that is about it. Hopefully that was a decent rundown. We could get that under 10 minutes. That way you don't have to watch the whole AMA. If you guys, you know, think I missed anything, just comment in the section down below. Please like, subscribe. I do these every single week, and we'll do gameplay videos and Tarkov videos and certain other things very related to extraction shooter type games. So thanks for being here, and have a good day.